I'm joined by Volkan Oezdemir, who takes on Paul Craig this Saturday at UFC London at the O2 Arena. Volkan, how are you?
I'm good, Farah. Thank you. What about you?
I'm doing good, thank you. Welcome back. I know past couple results haven't gone your way, but we always say you fight top-level competition. You always have your entire career. You wouldn't have it any other way, right?
No, that's what I want. You know, it's my goal is to get the title, and for this I need to smash everybody in front of me. You know, so I don't have to choose. I get the tougher test, and that's how I'm gonna get closer to the belt.
What's the matchmaking process like? Does the UFC give you a name and you say yes? Do you talk to your manager at all? Stuff like, what's the process like when getting you a fight?
The UFC give me a name and I say yes.
So they're obviously aware that you want to always constantly fight the top-ranked guys, the big names, right?
Yeah, and they know also. You know, it's what I'm looking for. You know, and I always put the same kind of performance into my fight, so they know. You know, I got the stomach for this, and you know I'm ready to go.
And you've always trained in a lot of places. You're training at All Stars Gym, Sweden. Is that a permanent move?
Yes, now it's actually where I'm residing now. So it's now my full-time location. I'm really happy to be there. I fully moved in June, so I did all my camp here. I did a little bit of a few weeks back and forth, you know, before that, but now it's my full-time place.
How did you come to the decision to pick Sweden?
So we were actually in my previous fight in Abu Dhabi. I was in the same locker room as Khamzat, and we spent a little bit of the fight week together. The manager and the coach, we were talking, and they invited me over there. So because of what happened also into my fight, I decided it was also time for a change. And with this happening at the same time, it was the perfect opportunity for me to grab it.
And Alexander Gustafsson on the same card as you, was he a big part of your training camp?
Yeah, definitely. So it's good to have a high-level fighter, my weight class also, fighting at the same time. So we shared a lot of the mat a lot together. We share a lot of training, a lot of sweat, and it's really good because now we're ready to give everything back that we've learned.
Did you get a chance to train with Khamzat as well?
Yeah, of course. He was definitely part of the camp. You know, gotta work on my takedown defense, definitely. You know, fighting Paul Craig and stuff. So obviously, Khamzat was a big part of it as well.
Yeah, and speaking of, you know, Paul Craig said at Media Day that perhaps he was going to try to work more of his wrestling because he's a guy with great jiu-jitsu, right? Pulls guard a little bit awkward in that sense with his ground game. But are you expecting him to try to shoot 4 takedowns?
He's definitely gonna go try to bring the fight to the ground. You know, that's the area where he's the most comfortable at. So obviously, it's gonna be a fight, a place he's gonna want to be, and he's gonna go by any way he can. So once he's gonna feel my punches, he's gonna turn into whatever, you know.
And what do you think of Paul Craig? He's a guy that a lot of people underestimate, and he's on a great winning streak, finishing guys. What do you make of his run?
Yeah, he's actually, because he's a little bit slow, he has a bad defense, and he gets hit a lot, he takes a lot of punishments, but he never give up, you know, that's the thing, he never give up, and he comes back late into the fight. He gets a lot of punishment, and he locks the triangle choke, he locks something, any kind of submission, and then if you go in the fight and you too overzealous, you don't think, you just go and you don't think, then it might be a problem for you. So obviously this is something you need to watch out with him, and obviously he's a great fighter now. He's riding a few win streaks, so obviously he's in a good shape.
We know what you want to do. You're a guy who likes to knock people out. What do you think of Paul Craig's striking?
It's good, you know. It's nothing fancy, nothing crazy. It's obviously, like everybody, needs improvement in some area. This is where he needs improvement at. But this is obviously not something that I'm worried about.
Ever since you fought for the title, the light heavyweight title has changed hands, especially recently, quite a bit. What do you make of the move of the championship and the division in general?
It was a really crazy fight. You know, I think probably the best fight of the year so far for me. It is crazy back and forth, and this is the kind of fight you also see. You don't know what to expect. You know, Jiri just submitted Glover Teixeira. Like, I will never predict that outcome. You know, so. It's a game of inches. It's a game of pressure. You need to put the right pressure. You need to seize the right opportunity, and then anything can happen. You know. So I don't really care about Paul Craig. Is also like a grappler or striker. Like I'm a striker or something. It's all about who's making the best game plan and making the right decision.
It looks like Yuri wants to rematch Glover. If they do run things back, who do you think wins?
It's I don't know. Now maybe Jiri got the psychological advantage a little bit on him, but Glover is also he was that close to win the fight too. On points he was. Then then this thing happened. But it's all about the outcome. So I cannot say.
And if that happens, or Jan Blachowicz is next, do you assume that, or do you think that the title will keep changing hands, or who do you see in the light heavyweight division that might keep that belt for a bit?
I think Jiri might, if he defends well against Glover, he might keep it for a few fights. But a lot of things are changing in the light heavyweight division. Jiri brought a new style, a new blood, but the more we're gonna see from him, the more we know what's gonna come. You see pattern already. Now you saw a lot, obviously in his last fight, but you see pattern and. Because also, obviously I study him when I fought him. I recognize a lot of stuff of how he fights now, and he's becoming, like something normal. So the more you see, the more people will know. So that's also why you always need to reinvent yourself. So then, once people start figuring out, it's going to be also different.
And finally, we talked about Paul Craig's momentum. Where do you feel like a win over him puts you?
Win over him, it's bring me also back closer to top 5 or something, because he's riding good momentum. He has a lot of things with his name. A lot of people talk a lot about him. So it's going to be good, obviously, for me for victory, and maybe hopefully one more fight, one more victory, or 2 victory, and maybe I can be close to a title shot.
And this is not an unfamiliar position for you, right? Like, you've snapped a losing skid before and put together wins. So how do you make sure you get consistent again?
Now I made the move, I made the transition to Sweden, new team. I was training in Switzerland in my first team where I started. And now it's maybe not the highest level with everything, with my surrounding. So now I'm good. I'm surrounded by a lot of great coach, great athlete, and I'm really happy with the move, and this obviously gives me a lot of confidence.
How do you get your hand raised on Saturday?
I just put my hands on him and I just keep the pressure, That's it.
All right, Volkan, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck.